Hey, what's happening guys? Mike Moo here. This is just a quick look at the Case Logic Kontrast Pro DSLR backpack. It's K instead of a C for Kontrast Pro. I believe this retails about $100 and they marketed this for a pro photographer. Okay, first things first. I do have some issues with this backpack, but it has some really interesting, innovative features about it. If you don't know Case Logic, they used to make, well, they currently make a lot of cases and bags and backpacks, so they're not new to the game. But I knew them mostly from creating little cases for CD players, MP3 players, things like that from the 90s and 2000s. I haven't come across most of their products lately because when it comes to the pro digital camera market or pro camera market, you really don't think about Case Logic. You think about Case Logic for accessory pouches and such. But they do know what they're doing, and it shows a lot of little features on here. And unfortunately, this is not the bag that I recommend for pro users or people who have big DSLRs, carry big lenses, and want to carry a lot of gear with them. I think there are much better options for this. Okay, so some of the great features that I like about this is that it checks all the marks that a person who is a prosumer, I'd say this is fine for a prosumer or someone who's using a mirrorless system. And I say that because when it's reasonably priced, you can get this on sale for as little as $60 sometimes. I see it retailing for $100 right now. The price will go up and down, and that's relatively affordable. It'll carry a 15-inch laptop over here in the back. This zips right out, and also a tablet. So they have this nice little padded area. I'd say my MacBook Pro 15 fits in here absolutely no problem whatsoever. And then there is a cushioned area here also for your iPad. So I can also fit my iPad 10-inch in here, 9.7-inch. I haven't tried my 12-inch in here, but it should be okay, minus a thick little case. So that's one thing that's pretty useful for anybody who's carrying it day to day. At the top, they have something that they call the Hammock System, and that just basically suspends your camera on top over here for you to go ahead and access. So I like the contrast of the green. This makes it really easy to see if there's anything that you might have left in the bag that you can't see, because most camera accessories are black in color, but it'll be a nice contrast here, and I think that was a really smart thing for them to do. So this suspends your system up here. There's this little suspension strap up here that is all velcroed in here that kind of suspends your camera from going down or too deep in here. It's kind of gimmicky, kind of neat. It does work. I have tried this out once, but I never actually took this out for a really long trip. And I'll say why. So we'll go around to this area over here, and this is the backpack strap. Unfortunately, there's nothing remarkable about it. Yes, it's well built, but what it is really lacking is, in other competitive markets for pro users, is the adjustability of the straps here, and also the padding. The padding on the straps is really weak. This is not something I want to go take around on a trip where I'm going to hike up a mile or two. It's just with a fully loaded backpack, mind you. This won't be a problem if you don't fully load the backpack. Naturally, any backpack that is really loaded with all the gear and glass that you have is going to be uncomfortable. I think that this is going to be really, really uncomfortable. So I never did take it out on a long trip. Okay, but the padding, interestingly enough, there's plenty of airflow over here. So this is actually really thick padding over here and really thick padding over here. I just kind of wonder why they didn't put more padding and more thought into the backpack straps. It's got a little sternum strap here, which is nice. There's no built-in whistle. This is something that you find on a more premium backpack. It doesn't have a hip belt as well. So that's not going to help really for anybody who's carrying anything really heavy. But one really innovative feature that I like about this is that it has this hard bottom section here. So if you place this down on somewhere on a bottle of water, an area of water, nothing's going to get wet. Unfortunately, if you have this fully packed to the brim, with everything, I can see a case where this will tip over. Now, I tried this just real briefly on the floor in-house, and I didn't see a problem the way I loaded it, but I can see how that could be a problem if you really, really loaded this bag out. But I wouldn't see a reason to do that because, again, the backpack straps are not terribly comfortable for my physique and my frame. So this is really something that you'll want to try out in a store or try it out from a place that has a good return policy. Okay, going on to the inside of the bag, this actually opens from the front. A lot of pro users will want something that opens from the back because then when it protects it from someone from stealing if you're traveling, or when you're laying down your backpack, you just lay it down like that, open it from the back. This way the backpack straps and all this stuff doesn't get dirty. Whereas in this case, besides the top area where you have a quick access to your DSLR with a, let's say, a 70 to 200 millimeter 2.8 attached, which is no problem for this, by the way, you will have to actually take off the backpack and then unzip the area in the front. And it doesn't unzip all the way, it unzips only from one section like this. So it only opens up this way, which may not be a problem for regular shooters or people who don't do it for a living, but I can see how that could be a problem for pro users. They give you plenty of dividers inside. Again, I really like this Kontrast. This color's fantastic. Really easy to find things. I only did a couple of tests where I just put in a bunch of gear. Unfortunately, I lost that footage because I did this years ago. This bag came out in 2015, by the way. So I did do that test, and it was fairly easy to see whether or not I had gear in here. One thing where they fell short is that even though this is nice and contrasty with the green, the bottom area, as you can see, is black and dark. So if you have things inside there, really small knickknacks, that's not going to stand out. So I feel like they only kind of went halfway with a system like this. Now, if you open up the really front area here, there is actually an area for you to organize items. Just standard stuff, nothing terribly remarkable. And a zippered area where you can keep things secured inside this front organizational pouch area. This too can also fit a small tablet. There's two organizational pouches area up here. One just really small. You could probably fit a little passport, maybe some cash. And then a bigger one down here where you can fit something even deeper. This is probably where I might keep some filters, lens cloths, things like that would fit over here. And then over here on the side, you have an area that you can strap on either a water bottle pocket, something kind of meshy. So if any water leaks out, it'll drain right out. But also, you can also fit on a small little tripod. I have to say that that this part is a little weak in design, but I'm glad that they have something there. It's just that for a pro class backpack, this falls kind of short. Okay, so that's a quick look at the Kontrast Pro DSLR backpack. I recommend it's fine for casual users or people who shoot with mirrorless systems who want a cheap, affordable backpack that is made by a really well-known name brand. But I definitely would recommend passing on this if you're going to be carrying a lot of heavy gear or if you are in fact a pro user. But most pro users know better, so that's why you won't see too many reviews about this when you look for it. Okay, that's it for this little review. Thanks for watching. Please give this a like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next video.